Hi, this is some video on certain kind of climate issues that new immigrants can encounter. So this is for my guests who especially come from, typo here. I made a little note just to cover all the points I intended to convey. Come from more damp environments such as UK and East Asia. And in fact, in my case, I have both. I'm originally from East Asia, which is a very wet place, and spent my 10 years of my time in my 20s and 30s in UK, which was also very wet and damp place, and moved to Canada, which is extremely dry place. So this is often not mentioned or discussed because not everyone has a specifically a similar type of experience of transiting from different time, a different climate zone, which regarding the humidity level in the air, in the environment. And so this is very privileged and special information, and I suffered a lot without knowing the cause of those discomforts in my everyday life here. I only come to realize the cause of everything that I experienced, which is described here, by the way, was caused by actually the dryness that I did not address and manage because I didn't know it was about dryness. So what I learned when I came here 2007, I start anyways developing various different types of health issues, especially dry eye issues, because buildings where I work in Canadian Toronto universities were extremely dry. I wasn't aware it was a dry because I did not have thermometer or hydrometer. Thermometer, just a moment, is it correct? Hydrometer, sorry. So those little gadgets that I provided for your apartment become something that become my obsession. I have 5 of them in this house because I learned that how the humidity level in the air is something invisible, but it affects the comfort level as well as health in the long term. And I suffered for 5-6 years without knowing it. It was just one person who had a similar experience of moving from a very wet place to dry, and then remind me, oh, you didn't know that Canada, everyone use humidifier in this country, or it's very dry here. And how would I have known? Because no one mentions it. So so it took me 6, and then I have done of all the things to address those, which is listed here. I have developed health in terms of health issues, which doctors did not explain, because doctors here they do not see the connection between our condition of body with environment, and at least that perspective is not very common. So they first try to just prescribe those artificial eye drops or things, which was all not addressing any of the issues. So I had to develop the severe dry eye syndrome, and then that's dryness in your eyes developed into pink eye syndrome, which is kind of, I think, is allergic reaction. So I got pink eyes in my work, in staying inside the buildings, especially in the winter time, of course. And the summer is a weather and it's a bearable, but it's winter time with of course, in the summertime, if you are working in the air conditioned environment, but there's no humidity added in the air, some homes has a humidifier attached to their furnace. In my house, in this house, also has humidifier added, which however is not functioning right now. I don't use it because the maintenance issues. So so Canadians are aware that the country is very dry, and especially wintertime with the heater on, and also environmentally is very dry, but at the same time indoor air quality is also extremely dry due to the heaters. And so the humidifier, little gadget costing between $25 to what, 150, or if you want to go for something fancy, 200, is extremely common kind of household items in Ontario, in Canada in general, except I think Vancouver or the wetter kind of cities in the maybe end of the West Coast and end of East Coast, I don't know. So I had developed dry eye syndrome, pink eye syndrome, and then what came was various eye allergies, allergic reaction. It was terrible. I almost also suggested to do some kind of undergo through surgical procedure to block the hole in my eye to stop the eye drops lubricating element escaping my eyes, which is so terrible kind of process or diagnosis, which I refused because I knew something was wrong in those. So anyways, allergy. So, and I also had a severe severe dehydration issue. I was always thirsty inside the building. So everything is interconnected, and I didn't know how I need to compensate the loss of loss of water in my body in continuing working inside those dry buildings. Because basically you can kind of imagine that you are like plant which constantly lose the moist from your body because the air is so dry. So once I brought the hydrometer to my work, and I put it inside my office, and the humidity level was 25 and 30, and 25 is drier than Saharan desert in Africa. And I also learned by the time that I was the one who was suffering from this environmental issue, while the rest of the people who are actually born and raised in Canada in this quite dry environment, they are quite acclimatized, and thus they do not suffer or feel they are not affected by it. And so it is you who just moved from very damp and wet environment to do something to address that, to increase the comfort level and to address all those mysterious health issues. So my suggestion is, of course, always buy this thermometer, hydrometer gadgets, which costs like cheapest from Amazon was $7. Of course, you don't need anything too fancy and too $15. Humidifier. I have history of purchasing so many different types of humidifier, and I have my suggestion and conclusion though. So if you are actually office worker type, working a lot, in fact, humidifying the entire house or space could be quite, in my house, for instance, if I try to humidify entire house, it's not going to work anyways. So I had a quite standard like 2-liter a humidifier, which costing between $100 to $130, which ended up actually getting damaged very easily after 1 year or 2 because of hard water here. And it's and also maintenance hassle, and I just didn't want to deal with the 3 liters of water. and soon the some kind of metal plates which kind of in the contact with the water and creates those how to mists soon will be damaged. We covered with those lime scale, which you can manage it, you can maintain it properly, but I don't know who is that good to maintain and to keep the lifespan of those humidifier extended. And in my case, everything was not working properly after a year or two or three, and so I highly recommend thus the small portable USB ones that you use right next to your, let's say, computer or laptop, and they are costing around $25, and they are less maintenance because you empty the water quite often, so you don't need to worry about bacteria issues by keeping these large amount of water unused inside the tank, and it's much easier to handle, and it's localized, so it is effective. You need to just hydrate, create a little bit of moist environment in the place where you work. And also lastly, which I discovered only 10 years later, so I've done everything, thermometers, I've carried with me, so I understand when I enter the space whether the space is very dry or not. So I already know that I need more of something to increase my comfort level, drinking more water included, or just get some personal humidifier with me. But moisturization is very, very important. Oh my God, I didn't know how important it is. So, you know, the body lotions, I actually was quite given quite strong, well-built skin. So I survived in many different countries that I went without ever use too much of body product. Moisturize body lotions was something that I use it just almost like hand cream, just tiny amount I use. But what I learned, if you want to be comfortable in the dry environment, and especially you're not yet climatized, you need to moisturize entire body after a shower, and that helps. So basically, top to your head to your feet, your entire body, I'm saying entire body need to be hydrated, and then you will feel great after that, because those strange dryness, itchiness, which I didn't know it was about dryness that I suffered, was gone. And when you're not moisturized and you're dehydrated, constantly losing moist from your body in continuing to work in the dry Canadian buildings, what you also suffer is this one, excessive oil production in your skin, which I experienced. And of course, I didn't connect this excessive oil production in my skin to dehydration and dryness issues in the environment. But right after I start moisturizing entire body with the body lotions and even Vaseline, if you if you have any very dry patches in your body, use Vaseline and it stops excessive oil production on my face and on my other areas of body, which is so magical and interesting. And severe dehydration I experienced, again, I didn't have habit of drinking waters, which is again a quite East Asian thing. I think unlike my European counterparts, friends, when I was in Europe, I noticed that they drink quite regularly, like just mineral water. And me, I didn't really feel very dehydrated. And in England was very dry, and so I not very wet, and so I never really felt. Sometimes you only drink twice a day, just between meal, after meal, and I never really felt the need of hydrating myself. And that is the something that I had to get in a habit of after I discovered the issues of dryness in the environment that affects my body and health. And so hydrating myself was something that I've been doing. Drinking more religiously, consciously was something that helped. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope this helped for those who come from very wet environment and have difficulties, and who may experience various similar discomfort issues. And I spoke about this one to another Canadian friends once, and the friends laughed because, oh, I come from Alberta. Alberta is more dry, so he or she feel that Toronto is very humid for the person, so never feel uncomfortable in terms of the humidity level and anything. So it was amusing. So it is all about climate and how you are adjusted to the climate. Anyways, thanks a lot. Bye.